Welcome back to another episode of the Movie Spreadsheet, where I review, rate, and rank movies based off of 5 simple criteria. Some fancy graphics probably up here around the screen right now, going over what those categories are. For movie number 321, I've chosen to watch Beetlejuice 2024 release. It's on HBO Max. It's an hour and 44 minutes. I love movies that are sub hour 45, so Beetlejuice is squeaking in under that. Why'd I choose it? Well, it's accessible. It's on HBO Max. I definitely wasn't going to see it in the theater, even though I do have AMC premiere this, which is amazing. What am I hoping for this one? Really, for it to just be another story in the Beetlejuice universe, if there is one. I think kind of Top Gun Maverick is a pretty good blueprint for what I was hoping for. Just a story with the relatively same people. So let's see if this movie was able to deliver on that. And real quick, before I get into the review, the average of the movie spreadsheet right now is a 6.029, and it has definitely been trending downward with some of the stinkers I've been watching. So another reason why I chose Beetlejuice, it was a pretty big movie of 2024. So here comes that review. This is another one of those movies where I think it makes more sense to start with a different category other than entertainment. Because I think for this movie, we have to figure out what is the movie trying to do to then be able to determine how entertaining it was in the pursuit of that goal. Very advanced, complicated sentence. I'm very proud of it. Let's just start with achievement of goal. And let me tell you what I think the director, Tim Burton, is trying to do is kind of just make another story that takes place in the Beetlejuice verse, but also potentially introduce a new group of people to Beetlejuice, which, they may not have seen 30 years ago when it came out. And the first Beetlejuice movie, it was good. It was fine. It was okay. It's not great. It's not horrible. It's going to be in that horror comedy genre, which the first time I saw Beetlejuice was kind of new for me. It's not a genre I super care for, but I think if any movie does it really well, I think Beetlejuice is the movie that did it well. And so for Beetlejuice, I'm hoping for that similar storyline. Now, for this movie, I get that. The storyline is exactly what I would hope for. It's in the same verse. They have the same cool things. I remember as a kid, I love the model, and I love how they utilize the model in the movie. Now, I don't think they did it enough in this movie at all, but I also love the chalk and how they use the chalk to go from world to world, and they definitely do that in this movie. So it gets you all those scenes that I feel like the people who watched the first Beetlejuice and liked it are going to appreciate. Now, obviously there are a bunch of silly scenes and there's a bunch of other stuff going on, but overall, achievement of goal, 6 out of 10, solid job. I do think it would have been a little bit better to tell a different story that might have had one less component to it, because there was a lot going on and it didn't really wrap itself up. So achievement of goal, one more time, 6 out of 10. Entertainment. This was a little tricky one for me because I don't really care for the horror comedy genre, but if any movie does it well, it's Beetlejuice. And Beetlejuice falls in line with what you would expect from a Tim Burton Beetlejuice movie. The only problem that I had that I think made this movie less entertaining is that they almost had a checklist of everything that needed to be in it. And I think that checklist actually hurt the movie. So even though the movie was only an hour and 45 minutes, they were definitely going to show the sandworm, and they were going to do something where Beetlejuice, closes the person's mouth, and they were going to do a dancing scene. And because they had all those boxes that they had to check, it kind of hurt the overall story. And I just felt like there were times where I lost interest. That's why entertainment, 7 out of 10. So good, just not great. Ending. Well, this ending sucked. This movie ending was so bad. When you get a 7 on entertainment, you get a 6 on achievement and goal, we're cruising along nicely. And what's happened is you've created so many different storylines with so many different people that all need to be resolved. We're more than halfway into this movie before we even really know like what the big issue is going to be. And this one person that you think is going to be a critical person or like the end bad guy isn't really even that person, just kind of ends. I hated the ending. I hated that they had to put that wedding dance scene in there. It just made no sense. It was awful ending. 1 out of 10. So bad for a movie that was entertaining, that did a good job hitting their the goal of the film. Ending was just a complete letdown. 1 out of 10. Okay. This is where I'm going to come off a little bit crazy, so just stay with me here. I like that this movie is between 1 hour and 30 and 1 hour and 45 minutes. It's where this type of movie needs to be. The problem is that they have so many different things going on in this movie that need to be resolved that they haven't really even addressed 1 hour and 10, 20 minutes into the movie, that the ending just feels so rushed. So I think this movie either needs to be 15 minutes longer so that we can have some actual resolution to these stories that have been created in the movie, or it needs to be 10 minutes shorter, which I'm trademarking that phrase, and just remove one of those storylines. I think because it does neither, obviously it's between 1 hour and 30 and 1 hour 45, which is great. I love it. It's going to be an 8 out of 10 length. If it did either of those other two things, it would be a 9 or a 10 out of 10. So length overall, 8 out of 10. Awesome job. Okay, it's that time. The time you've been waiting for, where you get to see the glorious movie spreadsheet. It's amazing. You should be creating one. You should watch movies. We should not read books. Watch movies. Go to the movies. Start movie clubs. Overall score time. Here we go. So this movie is a 5.6 out of 10, but I've also subtracted a 1/4 of a point penalty. So we're going to take that 5.6 down to a 5.35. And I took a 1/4 of a point off, or 2.5 on the spreadsheet, if you will, because of that ending cake fiasco that took place. If you watch this movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. It just was so weird and so strange and so stupid. And this is one of those parts of the movie where they're like, we need a dance sequence. We need things to happen, because there was a dance sequence in Beetlejuice, which, by the way, was great. And which, by the way, in Beetlejuice was awful. So much so that I needed to take off additional points for it. So, long story short, Beetlejuice, 5.35 final score, making it movie number 195 out of 321, bringing the average of the movie spreadsheet down from a 6.029 to a 6.026. Now, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Comment below. Please comment below. Movie recommendations. I got another one coming up this week. Thanks again for watching, and hope you enjoy this episode of The Movie Spreadsheet.